ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
This is CoreTV News on the hour with Nifemi Oguntoye. One of Nigeria's leading opposition figures, Muhammadu Buhari, on Wednesday declared his intention to run for the presidency on the platform of the All Progressives Congress. In a brief speech at the Eagle Square in Abuja, Buhari promised to tackle the lingering insurgency, create jobs for the youths, improve power supply and tackle corruption in all areas. He also implored party members to give him their support during the APC's elective convention to enable him to fulfill his promise to Nigerians. At least 4 state governors, including Babatunde Raji Fashola, Rotimi Amechi and Adams Oshomole, showed up at the declaration. Pal Samuel has the details.
It looks like a football match is about to take place here. But this is a political gathering for Muhammadu Buhari to declare his ambition to be the man to again challenge President Goodluck Jonathan. Group after group danced their hearts out in support of the former head of state. 4 state governors attended the event. And speaking on behalf of his colleagues, Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amechi says the ruling party has not lived up to expectation. This, according to him, is why APC has come as an alternative to take Nigeria to the promised land.
APC provides an alternative for the country. We are tested, and we have not, and we will never disappoint Nigeria. For us as APC, we will line up behind the party. Go back home now and get your voters. Go back home and do what? Go back home and do what? Get your voters card.
And when it was time for the general to make his declaration, the atmosphere around the venue changed. Now, the general is set to make a formal declaration. Bothered about the state of the nation, Buhari says he will wipe out corruption, tackle insurgency, and create jobs for the youths.
We in APC are resolved to bring change to Nigeria. We plan to do things differently. We plan to focus on 1, protection of lives and property. 2, pursuing economic policies for shared prosperity and immediate attention on youth employment. Quality education for development, modernity, and social mobility. Fourthly, agricultural productivity for taking millions out of poverty and ensuring food security.
But the former head of state knows that he has a battle on his hand to get his party's nod for next year's presidential election, and he didn't hesitate to seek the support of delegates to APC's convention. The former military head of state, General Muhammadu Buhari, has just declared his intention to run for the presidential primaries under the All Progressives Congress. For now, 2 candidates have indicated interest to run for the presidential primaries, talking about Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and now joining the race is Alhaji Muhammadu Buhari. For now, political watchers will only wait and see what the results of the presidential primaries in the APC will be. And for who will emerge the presidential candidates, only time will tell. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The former head of state, General Muhammadu Buhari, has also been reported to have picked up his presidential nomination form with the APC. Meanwhile, the presidency insists that President Goodluck Jonathan will be seeking re-election in 2015, contrary to an online report of a tenure elongation plan. He also does not seem bothered that former head of state Muhammadu Buhari may pose a threat to the president's second-term ambition. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Public Affairs, Doyo Kupe, told State House correspondents that his principal is prepared to contest against those he described as serious failures.
That when you have a sitting president and he is interested in a rerun, usually he's given the first the first choice of refusal. And the president is here to make public his desire. But this news from Sahara reporters is absolutely untrue. It is falsehood, and we deny it in all its entirety. It is aimed at, is part of the calculated attempt by the opposition to try and throw everything into the arena to embarrass this president. They've done this for the past 4 years. It has not worked. It has not deterred him. He has remained, focused. He has kept his eye on the ball, and the transformation agenda to the glory of God has become a grand success. Their declaration, our participation, is not a threat to us. They have never won elections before. Somebody who has contested 4 times and failed 4 times, what, for instance, what is Buhari going to tell Nigerians now? What's the new thing? He was the former head of state, a military head of state, but that's all he has done. But since then and now, what is the new thing he has acquired? What is the new thing, the new story? You cannot compare I will do with I have done. It's not possible.
The Federal Executive Council has held a valedictory session for 7 ministers who are eyeing governorship positions in their respective states. At the session, President Goodluck Jonathan ruled out the names of ministers he expects to leave the cabinet before his October 20 deadline, even though none of them has turned in their resignation letters. He explained that the cabinet members led by Information Minister Labaran Mako have all informally indicated their intention to seek governorship seats.
So 7 of us may not be here next week, Wednesday, to continue deliberation with us, if their plans continue. But we may not say they are not with us until they formally write to us through the Secretary of Government. As we are talking now, nobody has written, and we are not dropping anybody. So people should not say we have dropped ministers. No, we have not dropped any ministers. They are still members of council. But assuming between now and next Wednesday, if they decide to go on with their plans, then they may not be with us. It's only proper for us to at least wish them well, assuming we don't see them again. But if they change their minds, they will continue, they will be with us. But after receiving the letter and they change their mind, it will be too late. So if they have to change their mind, they have to change their mind before sending the letter to the Secretary of Government. And so the following Honorable Minister of Information, Labaran Mako, may not be with us next Wednesday. Honorable Minister of Health, Professor Onyebuchi Chukwu, may not be with us. Honorable Minister of State Education, Barrister Ezenwo Nyesom Wike, may not be with us. Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investments, Dr. Samuel Otom, may not be with us. Honorable Minister of Defense, Senator Musliu Olatunde Obanikoro, may not be with us. Honorable Minister of State Defense, Honorable Minister of State Niger Delta Affairs, Architect Darius Dixon Shaku, may not be with us. Then Honorable Minister of Labor and Productivity, Chief Emeka Wogo, may not be with us. I say may because they may change their mind.
All of us here who have been named by you as people who may not be here by Wednesday, owe God Almighty eternal gratitude for connecting us with you, which has led to our elevation to serve at this highest level of executive authority in our country. For me and Chukwu and a few others who have been here with you for the last 1.5 years in these hallowed chambers, going through all the experiences you have gone through as the leader of this country so far. Let me say on behalf of ourselves and our families, we thank you We thank you eternally for the confidence you repose in us and for choosing us among millions of Nigerians to support you in the capacities we have been in the last 4.5 years, some shorter than that. I mentioned something here last week when we were discussing the Ebola virus disease conquest by you and your leadership. That you may not be appreciated now, but sir, don't worry. A time is going to come when this country will celebrate you, because from all we have seen, the experiences we have gone through, and the talent you have shown as a leader, it is very, very clear that God brought you purposely to stabilize this country and to give us a new direction out of a crisis of several years.
Meanwhile, President Goodluck Jonathan has frowned at the poor working relations between some ministers and permanent secretaries in the Federal Civil Service. He advised the officials to close ranks in order for the government to function properly. The president noted that the complaints of cold relationship between the political and administrative heads of ministries, agencies and departments were too many to be ignored. Jonathan spoke while swearing in 6 new federal permanent secretaries before the commencement of the weekly Federal Executive Council.
Listening to your brief citations, definitely you've passed through the training process, and we believe very sincerely that you will do a very good job for the country. I think the key thing that will get worried about the civil service and government generally is the issue of discipline and impunity. These days, you hardly see a permanent secretary querying a director, or a director querying a assistant director, or assistant director querying a principal officer, or a principal officer querying a senior officers or officers. And in a system where there is no discipline, definitely you cannot get the best output. You can't assume that everybody will do the right thing. Filtration passes through a process, and we must be able to bring discipline to bear in the service if we must give our country the best. One of the other thing is the ability of PAMSECs working with their ministers. Lately, I will receive too many complaints about cold relationship between permanent secretaries and ministers. If permanent secretaries don't work with the ministers, ministers don't work with the permanent secretaries, there's no way we can do what we're expected to do.
The Adamawa State Governor Bala James Aguilari has sworn in the newly appointed Secretary to the State Government, Ibrahim Anjo Welye, alongside the Acting Auditor General of the state. The ceremony, which was conducted by the Acting Chief Judge Ishaya Banu, attracted top government functionaries.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will be faithful.
That I will be faithful.
And bear true allegiance.
And bear true allegiance.
To the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
To the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
And that I will preserve.
And that I will preserve.
Protect.
Protect.
And defend the Constitution.
And defend the Constitution.
Of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
1999 as amended.
1999 as amended.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Aguilari says the newly sworn-in stood by him through thick and thin, and that they deserve the appointment because they are proven professionals.
They are not only Adamawa State citizens, but they are Adamawa State citizens of whom we can always be proud at any time. I speak for the heck of it. There are people I've known for quite some time now, particularly since I came here. There are men of character, integrity, and excellence. I've no doubt in my mind that each and every one of them deserve.
In his response, the new secretary to the state government says the governor has shown so much confidence in their ability to deliver and promised to do everything possible to move the state forward.
He has a lot of faith in us, and that is what I'm afraid of. He believes that we can perform. For that, I will only say, may God help us to perform. His Excellency has a passion, a great passion for changing the lot of the people of Adamawa State.
The Lagos State PDP has formally recognized the existence of LCDA structures in the state as it met with members christened LCDA officials. The meeting, which was chaired by the party state chairman Tunji Shele at the state secretariat, also had in attendance prominent members of the state executive and party chieftains. The christening of the party's LCDA officials is now a confirmation that the Lagos State PDP has recognized the existence of LCDA structures. It will be recalled that the state chapter of the party had boycotted elections in the LCDA, but in 2011 participated in the said elections. The party also always insisted that the LCDAs were not recognized under the Constitution. Speaking on the development, the state chairman confirmed that as plans to win the 2015 election in the state, it was unavoidable to participate in identifying the LCDA structures. The political expediency in the state dictates that we must also revolve our mobilization to the LCDAs. End of quote. He also says the APC can no longer blackmail them about being opposed to the creation of more councils in the state. At the event, the party urged the LCDA chairman to be committed and eschew acrimony with the local government chairman to make possible the motive and objectives of the creations. We'll take a break now, and I'll be back with more. Stay with us.
There is an Ebola virus epidemic in some West African countries. The Nigerian government wants you to be aware and watch out against the spread of Ebola in your community. Help keep our country safe and watch out for severe cases of fever, headaches, diarrhea, chest and abdominal pain, sore throat, cough, red eyes and bleeding from the eyes, ears and nose, especially when these symptoms are found in persons coming into Nigeria from other West African countries. Protect yourself. Wash your hands regularly with soap and running water or use a hand sanitizer. Avoid contact with the blood, urine, feces or saliva of animals like bats, monkeys, gorillas, chimpanzees or infected persons. The Ebola virus is deadly. Don't catch it. Don't spread it. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
Welcome back. You're on to CoreTV News on the hour. For more online news, you can join us on our social media platform. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. And our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. As well as on YouTube, it's youtube.com/CoreTV with a space and news. 59 soldiers have pleaded not guilty to mutiny charges before a court-martial in Abuja. The soldiers are all members of the 111th Special Forces Battalion who allegedly refused to go to the front lines in Borno State to confront Boko Haram insurgents. According to the charge sheet, they are specifically accused of refusing to be deployed in August to recapture the towns of Yewa, Belabuluni and Dambo from Boko Haram. Prosecutor Joseph Nwosu had told the court he had enough evidence against the accused soldiers, but defense counsel Femi Falano told the court that there was no evidence to back up the charges. He added he was out to prove that the soldiers should not have been brought to trial in the first place. The court-martial session continues on Thursday. But while the Nigerian authorities plan to honor soldiers involved in the ongoing war against insurgency at next year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration, Defense Minister Aliyu Gusau, who discussed this at a news conference in Abuja, said it would be a special one because it coincided with the country's greatest security challenges in recent times. He explained that it will also provide an opportunity to reflect on the sacrifices made by military personnel for peace in the country.
The Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration 2015 with the theme Appreciating the Nigerian Armed Forces is a special one because it coincides with Nigeria's greatest security challenges in recent times. It is therefore appropriate to specially appreciate the commitment of our personnel that are paying the supreme price in confronting our security challenges so that we can live in peace. The contribution of the officers, men and the women of the armed forces towards the return of peace to troubled spots in our country cannot be overemphasized. The nation remains eternally grateful to these gallant Nigerians. The Remembrance Day period is therefore time to reach out to the loved ones the fallen heroes have left behind and those who have been incapacitated in order to contribute towards rehabilitating them. The federal government of Nigeria looks forward towards our dear citizens in both public and the private sectors to appreciate the courage and the patriotism of these service personnel and support them generously.
The House of Representatives has endorsed 70 new amendments to the 1999 Constitution. This was after the conference report of a joint committee of the Senate and the House of Representatives was tabled for adoption. The motion was moved by Deputy Speaker Emeka Ihedioha, who doubles as the Chairman, House Committee on Constitution Review, and unanimously adopted by the lawmakers. Out of the 261 members present in the chambers, 252 voted to adopt the report, 8 voted against, while 1 member abstained. Speaker Aminu Tambuwa, who presided over the session, observed that the House had met the constitutional requirement of 2/3 majority of members needed to amend the Constitution. The World Bank has tasked the federal government to increase its fiscal buffers by raising the excess crude account from $4.1 billion to $6.3 billion. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Federation, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, made this disclosure at the end of the 2014 annual meeting in Washington, D.C. She said federal government is looking on how to strengthen the buffers. One of them is to get resources, which the government is not planning to do. Other options are revenue plans, which the Federal Inland Revenue Services, backed by the McKinsey, to help to strengthen capacity, to improve audits and plug leakages by targeting 75 billion naira, although 44 billion naira was realized in July, the other full expenditure plans. However, with the uncertainty of the global economy and the drop in the global oil price, the economy is expected to grow at 3.8% in 2015. We'll take another break and I'll be back with stories outside Nigeria. Don't go away.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Welcome back. U.S. health officials are seeking 132 people who flew on a plane with a Texas nurse on the day before she came down with symptoms of Ebola. The nurse, the second person to catch Ebola in the United States, became ill on Tuesday. Both she and nurse Nina Pham, 26, had treated Liberian Thomas Eric Duncan, who died on 8 October in Dallas. Meanwhile, the UN's Ebola mission chief says the world has fallen behind in the race to contain the virus, which has killed more than 4,000 people in West Africa. On Wednesday, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, said it wanted to interview the passengers on Frontier Airlines Flight 1143 from Cleveland, Ohio to Dallas, Texas on 13 October. It said it was taking the measure because of the proximity in time between the evening flight and a forced report of illness the following morning. And that's it on CoreTV News this hour. Join us again at the top of the hour for more stories. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for being there.